And yeah, I'm recording now. So let's have a look at this answer key. So this is a key. This is uploaded under your final exam review. For the people who are just joining me, I'll show you where to find this in a minute. But this is online for you guys to look at. And the answers are there or here. So the test number 2 is outside my office. If you guys want to pick it up today or tomorrow, or I guess you'd probably want to get it by tomorrow, because I think it's hard to get on the campus in the weekend. So, well, I mean, your exam's on Saturday, that's no problem, but Friday will be a bit difficult to get to the campus. So you can go to my office and your exams are outside there. Your first test is out there too. Not a lot of people picked up their first test. So if you manage to make it on campus today or tomorrow, go and grab your tests. It'd be really, really good to study. And if you can't get to the campus to study your tests, it's not really a big deal, because you can look at the answer key here. Okay, so this question, one of the questions that a lot of people had problems with is number 6. So let's have a look at number 6. It says, first of all, the first, I guess, 4 or 5 questions were done almost perfectly. But number 6, what number decreased by 8% is 50? And a lot of people were giving me like crazy answers. Well, I'm sorry, not crazy, but like really, really large answers, like in the hundreds, like 600 and 500 and things like that. Think about what this question is saying. It's saying, what number decreased by 8%? So we're going to take a number and we're going to subtract from that number 8%, and it's going to equal 50. So it's, sorry guys, there we go. What number, X, decreased by 8% is going to equal 50. Now, this is not how you exactly solve it, because of course you guys know I don't use percents in my calculations. I always use decimals. So I am going to change this, but first I want to explain to you, where does this come from? Well, it's the number, whatever the number is, we'll call it X, and I'm going to take away 8% of that number. So this is 8 minus 0.08, X equals 50. This would be 0.92, X equals 50. X would be 50 divided by 0.92. So I have the answer there, but I'm just going to double check to make sure everything's okay. Yep. And X would be, so 50 over 0.92, or 54.35. Now, again, think of that number. Think of the logical nature of that number. Again, when a lot of people, I'd say if there were 15 people who did the test, 10 of you put a number there that was like, 100 or like 500, 600, 700. That doesn't really make sense. If I took 600 and decreased that by 8%, it's not going to be anywhere near 50. But 54 decreased by 8% does make a little bit more sense. So again, what number, X, decreased by 8%, so that number subtract 8% equals 50. That was probably one of the harder ones of the fill in the blanks. Okay, so there's the answer for that one. Now this really surprised me. This question, question number 2 was done great. Question number 10, 11, this was a really good page. Really no big problems here, except for number 12. Number 12 gave some people some problems. By the way, I know I said today would be final exam review. This is review, because some of these questions on test number 2, wink, wink, you'll see again on your final. So you want to definitely study test number 2. I also will put the key up for test number 1 shortly. I have it ready. I just have to kind of do something with it before I upload. So just before I get into question number 12, you guys have your exam on Saturday, so it's not that far away. And every semester I get students saying, what do I study? If I have my exam, like, what would you do? And if I was a student, I would look at test number 1 and 2 and the sample final. Okay. You're not going to have time to watch all of the YouTube videos again, but you can definitely have time to go over test number 1, test number 2, and the sample final. Oh, I have a private message here. It says, if it's 8% less than, why is it 54? Let me read that again. If it's 8% less than, why is it 54? Why isn't it lower than 50? Again, you have to read this question carefully. What number? So I'm taking a number. I'm going to decrease that number by 8%, and it will equal 50. It has to be bigger than 50. What number? So take a number, decrease that number by 8%, and it will turn into the number 50. It has to be bigger, right? Any number decreased by something has to be bigger than the original number. So my answer must be a little bit bigger than 50. Okay, good. That was a good question. Oh, by the way, I don't think, what's going on there? Anyways, sorry, my computer made a weird thing. I think out of 15 students, I'm pretty sure everybody got number 9 correct. 10 and 11, the same kind of thing. A few people with 11 didn't change it into milligrams. They had it left as grams or milliliters. But number 12 was surprisingly not done well by a lot of people. And there's actually a few ways to do number 12. So a pharmacist adds 40 grams of cortisone to 500 grams of a 17% mixture, weight by weight, of cortisone ointment. What is the percentage weight over weight of cortisone in the final mixture? Well, all you had to, there was basically 2 steps here. It was worth 3 points. So there's 2 steps, and then the final answer is worth a point. Step number 1, find out how many grams of cortisone was in this mixture. So, right, remember, I'm basically doing a problem like this. I'm taking 100% cortisone solution. I'm taking 40 grams of that. I'm going to take a 17% cortisone solution. I'm going to take 500 grams of that, and I'm going to make a 540 gram solution, or 40 mixture, and I'm trying to find the percent of that. Let me rewrite that in a proper order here. Okay, so this is actually another way to solve this. You could solve this like we did at the end of chapter 3 by using one of the, that mixture formula. This does work. But when this question was from earlier in the chapter, earlier in chapter 3, and we had 40 pure grams of cortisone, and then we're going to add it to a mixture of 500 grams of 17%. So my goal is to figure out how much cortisone is in the final mixture. So step number 1, how many grams of cortisone were in that 17% mixture? So I did my formula here. I took my 17%. If this doesn't make sense, basically I said, okay, what is 17% of 500? And I got 85 grams. In the 17% mixture, there's 85 grams of cortisone. Okay, well, now I'm pretty much done. The weight over weight of my solution is the weight of the active ingredient, which we would call the solute, over the total. So it's 85 from my 17% solution plus 40 grams from my, a pure solution or pure chemical divided by the total 550. And a couple, like I'd say 6 or 7 people got this one right, but about half of you didn't do anything with the 85, or some of you didn't put the 540 as the total on the bottom. So yeah, just this is definitely a question you want to look at. Wink, wink, wink. And the other way to do this question. So the answer key is showing you how to do this like we did in the earlier section in chapter 3. But this also works too on the bottom, just like we did later in the chapter. It's mixture A plus mixture B will equal my final mixture. You can also solve it this way. A few people did it this way, the bottom way, and that was really nice to see. Okay, this page was done really well, but you know what really surprised me? And this is, oh wait, hold on. Oh no, not this page. This page was done really well, whatever page this is, like 3 or 4. So questions number 13, 14, 15, 16, done very, very well. And again, you guys can look at this yourself and look at some of the answers if you think you need practice on them. But number 18 was done so bad. It was worth 6 marks. So, and so many people got A wrong. A lot of people got B correct, but again, if there was 15 tests, I'd say 10 or 11 people didn't get A. Now, A was only worth 2 points, but I thought, and again, this happens all the time when you're a teacher. Sometimes you think things are easy. Sometimes you think things are hard. And then when you look at the test, students found the hard stuff easy and the easy stuff hard. I thought A was going to be so easy. But again, maybe we need to review it. I think when you see the answer to A, you're going to kick yourself. Okay. So question 18, definitely a good question to know for your final. Liquid A has a specific gravity of 111. Liquid B has a specific gravity of 0.77. Okay, cool. We know their specific gravities. Great. A pharmacist mixes 52.5 milliliters of liquid A with 27.3 milliliters of liquid B. So there's 2 parts to this question. Part A, what's the concentration in volume and volume? B, what's the concentration in weight and weight? Now, they're both the same thing, but what you need to do to solve either of these, the percent is always going to be the amount of B over the total. And then, of course, you turn it in, you times it by 100 to be a percent. But that's it. You take the amount of B, and so many people put weird things on top. I was really confused about question A. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but we're going to go through the answer now. So why am I putting the amount of B on top? Well, it says, what is the percent concentration, volume of liquid B? So I'm looking for the percent of B. So the amount of B goes on top in the final mixture, so over the total volume. So all you had to do for question A was take the amount of B and divide it by the total, A plus B. I didn't need to do anything with those numbers. Again, a lot of people were doing calculations up there, using the specific gravities. They were dividing. You were doing all this crazy stuff where it was just 273, the amount of liquid B, divided by the total, 52 plus 273. Done. 2 marks. That's it, 83.9%. So again, I kind of thought that would be an easier one. And the other thing too, people were using specific gravity up here. No, this is volume and volume. I already know the volumes. I have milliliters and milliliters. Definitely make sure you know how to do volume over volume. You guys did this in chemistry too. So it's the volume of liquid B over the total volume of solution. Done. Okay. B was done better, actually. And again, this is what surprised me. B was the easier one, or sorry, A was kind of the, maybe not easier, but the less work. And B was a bit more work. So what you needed to do for B, it's the same thing, but we need to convert, I'm writing on the bottom here, we need to convert the milliliters to grams, then do the same thing. Okay, so how do we convert milliliters to grams? We use our formula from our data sheet, which I have somewhere in front of me. It's the amount of the liquid as if it was water. So the milliliters times the specific gravity. And all that's from the question above. And a lot of people did this. So the weight of A is the 52.5 milliliters times its specific gravity. So this would be 28.28 grams. The weight of B would be the 273 times its specific gravity, and this would be in grams. And then the answer is the same thing as above, except instead of using milliliters, we use grams. So it would be, oh, sorry. Let me just check something. Oh yeah, this is the percent of A in the final mixture. So I take the mass of A and divide it by the total volume or the total mass of the entire solution. And that's it. So those questions, that was the by far the worst question. Every other question was done pretty well. You know, some students got other ones wrong, but most people got them right. So, but just something about number 12, or sorry, not number 12, number 18 really, really didn't work well for you guys. And that one's, you're going to see that one again. Okay. I think that's it for the final, guys. Or not final. That's it for this test. I mean, number 19 was done really well. A few people forgot to put an X here, or they entered something different like X plus 555. It's just X times 555. In number 20, let's look at number 20 for 1 second. The only problem that a few people had with number 20 is they forgot the 30 plus X. So let's read this question. And again, this one you might see on the final as well, wink, wink. How much water should be added to 30 grams of a 40% solution to make a 15% solution? So here you can see my workings. I used an alligation table and the algebraic method. So, okay, let's have a look. We have 30 grams of 40% solution. Okay, easy. We're adding water. Now, remember, when you have water, you have a 0% concentration. So the question says how much water? So that's 0% times X, right? But we don't need that. Like the water isn't going to equal anything. But here's where a lot of people messed up. It's going to make a 15% solution weight by weight. Now, so we have our 40% times our 30 plus our water, which equals 0. We're trying to make a 15% solution, but this solution has to be multiplied by the total amount. It's going to be the 40% solution, so 30 plus the water that we're adding. And remember, the water that we're adding, we don't know what it is. So I end up solving this equation here, which I'm not going to go through how to solve the equations. That's just algebra. You know, make sure you distribute the 15 out. You'll get this, and then you'll get this, and you'll get 50. Actually, what this should be is 50 grams or milliliters. Doesn't really matter because water is the same. So 50 grams, 50 milliliters. Again, the only problem people had with number 20 is, and let me just clear my writing. A lot of people just didn't put 30 plus here. A lot of people just put X. This number is the total, and the total is the 30 from the 40% added to the amount of water. And I don't know the water, so I go 30 plus X. All right, that's it. 21 was probably one of the best questions on the whole exam. 21 was done very well. And I think you guys knew you were going to get a question like question 21. But you know what was strange is question 21 is basically the same as number 20. It's just instead of water, like in 20, we're adding a pure compound in 21. And strangely, 21 people did a lot better, but still, it was good. I was pretty happy with the results of the exam, I must say. I knew they wouldn't be as high as test number 1, but it was still done pretty well. All right, so don't worry, but this is from my other class. Don't worry about that. I'm going to share with you something else here. Content. So so I'm in content on your D2L, and I showed you guys this briefly yesterday. I'm in the final exam reviews right at the bottom. So I click at the final exam reviews, and you'll see there's a review and an answer key, and then here's your test 2 key. I do have a key for test number 1. I can upload that right after class. I just have to do something with it. So after today's class, you will see the test number 1 key here as well. You can use that to study. But let's take some time today and look at some questions from the final exam review. Sorry, I'm just reading a question in the chat. The question in the chat, it's a private message. It says, do you know, or do you have how many marks or questions you will ask from each chapter? I don't know that right now, as in like, I'd have to look at your final. Just let me see, just hold on, because I can do this right now. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Let's see. Oh no, this is gonna take me some time to actually figure out. I'm just seeing if I can figure this out quickly. I'm looking at your final now. No, there's no quick way for me to do this, and I don't want to waste too much time. So again, the question said, how many marks or questions will you have from each chapter? It's like, to be honest, it's basically an even split. If you really want to know, I can pick apart the final exam, but I'm looking at it now. It's basically 25% of the final is chapter 1, 25 is chapter 2, 25 is chapter 3, 25 is chapter 4. It's an even split right down. But again, it's not perfectly even. It might be like 21% from chapter 1, 23% from chapter 2. But if you really want to know the specifics, I can look at it, but it'd take me some time because I'd have to go through the whole exam. I can tell you this though, that your exam is 40 multiple choice, which I think will be excite some of you, because test number 2 had fill in the blanks, which means you're right or you're wrong. But the final here has 40 multiple choice. Seems like a lot, but a lot of those multiple choice are actually from chapter 4. And then for part B, the short answer, there is 15. It's not as long as it sounds. So there's 40 multiple choice and 15 kind of calculations where you have to show me you're working. 40 multiple choice, 15 calculations. All right, so let's look. Now, one thing I'll mention, your final exam was modeled after this final exam, is basically modeled after this. The only difference with with your exam and this review is that your exam, it's all the multiple choice at the beginning and all the short answer at the end. It's not broken up into chapters like this one. So let's have a look at some of these. Let me download this and open it so I can. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, write on it. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on, guys. Just going to open this so I can write on it. Okay. All right, so here we go. There's your math final review. Again, I cannot stress this enough. I designed your math final off of this one. I obviously changed questions. I changed some numbers, but it's kind of like the same idea, the same type of questions, just different numbers and things like that. Again, the only difference with your final is all of the multiple choice are at the beginning. So instead of breaking it up into like, instead of breaking the multiple choice up into different units, it's all kind of like multiple choice at the beginning, short answer at the end. And that's what we're supposed to do for final exams. So I kind of had to follow the rules there. All right, so let's have a look at some of these questions here. Now, the first part is pretty straightforward. So, all right. Okay, so the first part is very straightforward. The metric or unit conversions, I don't know if you guys really need me to go over this or if you want me to go over this. You guys know that you're getting a data sheet that shows you all of these conversions. So I think I might leave unit conversions for you guys to just practice with, but I will warn you, there are a lot of questions about unit conversions. One thing to be careful about is like in something like number 7, where you're going from liters to centimeters squared. So again, all of this is on your formula sheet. Well, except for number 5. Number 5 says, which of the following is not a metric unit? Definitely feet, right? The Americans use feet. So in number 5, that's not in your data booklet, but everything else is. But one thing you want to be careful with number 7 is changing like liters to centimeters cubed. And you will have to do something like this on your own final. There's something special you need to do when you're dealing with a cube. So first things first, let's think of some conversions. First of all, I know that 1 milliliter is 1 cubic centimeter. Okay, no problem there. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go from liters to centimeters. So I'm trying to go backwards. Right? I have centimeters to liters. So first things first, you want to change this unit to milliliters, and then you want to change it to liter. I know that there's 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. So I'm not sure. I think this is on your formula sheet. Let me just check. I got the formula sheet here. Oh yeah, okay, no, this is on your formula sheet. Okay, so good. But one thing you might not recognize is 1 centimeter cubed is 1 milliliter. So that is on your formula sheet. I'm looking at your formula sheet right now. So first thing here, you would go to milliliters and then you would change it to liters. And the answer to number 7, if I did that, would be a factor of 1,000. So I'm just dividing it by 1,000. So 1.2. I'll kind of let you guys worry about unit conversions. They're not that bad, right? So there's a million. This is just practice. Your exam is not this long, by the way. Don't worry. Like you do not have 16 questions on your exam. Okay. let's see, what else can we do for practice? A lot of students have problems with this one. Let's look at this one for a second. What is the height in centimeters of a child who is 3 feet 2 inches tall? Okay, well, I know I can look at my formula sheet and I know that 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, right? That's no problem. The issue here is the way that we convert from feet to inch, or the way that we convert this height into centimeters. I also know that in 1 foot, there is 12 inches. So step number 1 is to figure out how many inches is this total. Well, this person is going to be 3 times 12, which is 36 inches. Now that's 3 feet plus 2 inches. So this person is 38 inches tall. Then I can multiply it by this. And I'll get my answer, which is, do it on my calculator here, 96.5. Right, 97. Oh, well, I'll say 96.5. So be careful here. First, I change my feet to inches. 36 inches is in 3 feet. Then I add the other 2 inches. The reason I'm telling you this is 3 feet 2 inches. You can't say it's like 3.2 feet. That's not how that works. You have to change the feet to inches and then add on the inches. Okay. So let's look at, that's the short answer. Let's look at some long answer from chapter 1 here. Again, I probably won't do much from chapter 4 because we literally just finished chapter 4. So it should be pretty fresh in your minds. But let's look at some other ones. Okay. A prescription calls for 2 tablets every 12 hours for 10 days. If each tablet contains 0.2 grams of acetaminophen, how many milligrams of acetaminophen will be taken over the 10-day period? So we got a prescription. There's 2 tablets every 12 hours per 10 days. So this is 2 tablets per dose. Okay, then every time, what I mean is every time they take a dosage, it's 2 tablets. So I know that there's 2 tablets for every dose. I guess I can write that as a fraction. We are also taking 2 doses per day. Oops, sorry about that. And each tablet contains 0.2 grams. Now we can convert that to milligrams later, and we're doing this for 10 days. Okay, so you have 0.2 grams, and you're taking, the goal here is to figure out how many tablets are you taking. Okay, so we need to figure out how many tablets we're going to take. We take 2 doses a day for 10 days. Okay, so we're doing this for 10 days. We take 2 doses per 1 day. We take 2 tablets for 1 dose. Okay, now what this tells me is how many tablets I've taken, but this is 2 grams here. This will tell us how many grams that we've taken total. So let's see how many grams grams, not milligrams, but grams we've taken total. So 2 times 10 times 2 times 2, we get 80 grams. So days cancel, doses cancel. This is 2 grams per tablet. So the tablets is gone. We have taken 80 grams over this 10-day period. Now, that's not the answer. We need to do it in milligrams. So I can very quickly change this to milligrams, 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram, and you'll get your answer, 80,000. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I messed up. On my calculator, guys, I put in, look over here. On my calculator, I put in I put in 2. It's 0.2. 0.2 times 10. Sorry, I didn't put the decimal there, and I knew my answer was off by a little factor. There we go. Just 8 grams. Sorry, 8 grams. Sorry, again, I didn't put the 0.2 in. I just put the 2 in. So we take 8 grams total, which would be 8,000 milligrams. That's a pretty tough one to start with, isn't it? I think my exam is a little bit better structured. Like it starts with, some easier types of questions. All right. What else? I don't know. Let's see. I mean, these are pretty straightforward. Well, not sorry, they're not straightforward at all, but these are pretty much review. Why don't you guys try? I'm trying to make sure that the final, or that the questions kind of link to your final. So let me just see something. Sorry, I'm looking at my own exam to see like what questions would kind of match up with your exam. That was a good one. Number 1 that we just did was a good one. Wink, wink. Is there anything with? Hold on now. Sorry, I'm not trying to like confuse or waste time. I'm just trying to I want to do a question that's going to be kind of good for everybody. Okay, well, why don't you guys try number 2? I think just for a little more, number 2 is very much like 1 on your final. So give number 2 a try for a second, and then we'll look at the answer. Number 2, and I don't know, it's been a while since you guys have done this, but number 2, wink, wink, would be a good one for your final. So yeah, why don't you guys try number 2? I'll just give you like 2 minutes for that, and then we'll look at the answer. I don't want to waste too much of your time, but it'd be nice for you guys to practice this. So try number 2. All right, just another minute. Again, I don't want to use up too much of your time. Just want to see if you guys can do this one. This one's actually deceptively simple once you kind of figure out what it's asking. So just one more minute and we'll look at this and then I'll move on to something else. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So a patient needs a new IV bag every 24 hours. Okay, so this person is going to, basically every day they need a new bag. So that's a really important part of this question. Every day they need a new bag. If the IV bag empties at a rate of 25 milliliters every 36 minutes, how many liters is in the bag? So sounds like a very challenging question, but it's actually, when you think about what it's asking, it's actually pretty easy. A patient needs a new IV every day, every 24 hours, and every 36 minutes, the bag is emptying 25 milliliters. So what it's really asking us is to figure out how many milliliters is leaving every 24 hours. We know that there's 25 milliliters every 36 minutes. So our goal is to basically figure out how many minutes are in a day, and then how many times will the bag empty if we divide it by 36. Like, you'll see what I mean. So our first ratio, we know that we have 25 milliliters per 36 minutes. We know that we have one bag every 24 hours. Okay, so I'm going to start with 24 hours. My goal is to figure out how many minutes are in 24 hours, and then how many milliliters will be in each of those, not each of those minutes, but in that time period. So 24 hours per one bag. And first things first, I have milliliters and minutes. So the first thing I'm going to do is convert this to minutes. So there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay, so they cancel. So now I can figure out how many minutes are going to last one bag. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply it by the fact that every 36 minutes, 25 milliliters is lost, or not lost but injected or whatever. This is an IV, and somebody on I think test number 1, somebody asked me, what does IV stand for? It means intravenous. So I mean, let's do this calculation and I'll show you what this means. We're almost done, but there's one extra step here. So 24 times 60, excuse me, 24 times 60, that's going to be how many minutes? Then I'm going to multiply that by 25 divided by 36, and I'm going to get 1,000 milliliters per bag. Now, that's not the answer, because the answer is saying how many liters, but it's pretty easy to solve from this point, because I can change milliliters to liters, no problem. But I want to explain to you what this means. This means that if every 36 minutes that 25 milliliters are emptied from the bag, well, in a day, that means 1,000 milliliters are going to be emptied from the bag. So that must mean our answer is 1 liter in a bag. That was a pretty easy one, but very much like one you'd see on your final exam. So yeah, I'll kind of leave this for you guys to practice. Let's look a little bit into chapter 2. Chapter 2, probably one of the easiest questions, except for this body surface area thing, which I might do a quick review of. So the part one multiple choice, really no problems here. Or when you guys did this on test number one, I mean, there weren't really many problems. You know, expressing these things in lowest terms, ratios of drugs, no problems. Like this is pretty easy. Okay. Sorry, I'm yawning here. Let's look at something from this chapter. Now, one thing I want to do for chapter 2 is I do want to do a body surface area question, and then we'll check the time. I'll see if you guys have any other questions, and that'll be it. So if let's do like something like number one. If this you would see something like number one on your test. If 40 grams of an ointment contains 8 grams of calamine, how much calamine will be in 60 grams of ointment, right? This is a pretty easy one, but still something you would see on a test or on your final, sorry. So I could set up equivalent ratios. I'm trying to see 40 grams of ointment contains 8 grams of calamine. How much will be in 60 grams? So I can set up fractions here, you know, equivalent ratios. And I can cross multiply. So I'm not writing very neat here, but anyways, it's still, you know, pretty straightforward. So this would be 60 over, well, 40 times 60 over 8. So this would be 60 divided by 8, 7.5. So it would be x is 7.5 over 40, and you'll get your answer. Oh, sorry, 60 times 8. I'm trying to go quick, my bad. Cross multiply, right? So 60 times 8. There we go. I knew something was up with that answer, or something was up with that question. 480 over 40. There we go. So that would be 12 grams. Cross multiply. So 60 times 8, 40 times x. Solve for x, no problem. That's a pretty easy one, but again, something you could see on your final. Let's see here. I want to do a body surface area one. Yeah, here we go. So let's look at number 7. Well, hold on. Well, yeah, okay, we can look at 7 and 8. One thing I'll mention, guys, you are not expected to do this by formula on your final. You will be given the nomogram, so you can do this on your final exam using the nomogram. You don't need to ever use the formula if you don't want to. So let me just open that up for you. Give me 1 second here. Formula sheet. Okay. Actually, I'm going to download it. Sorry, guys, just opening it up in Adobe. Okay, so here is, if you guys can see my screen here, here's your formula sheet. You know how it works, but the nomograms are here on this page. There's child first, or sorry, adult first, then child. So let's go, let's go back to the question. This says, using a nomogram, find the BSA for an adult who is 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighs 235 pounds. Now, 6'3", this is the child, so I'm going to go up to the adult. Oh, I got to read that again. What was it? 6'3", 235. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit. Well, that's too much. 6'3" is in the middle between 6'2" and 6'4". So 6'3" is here. If you don't like that, you can always change the person's height to centimeters. But I mean, this doesn't have to be perfect. And I think it said that they were 235. So what I do now is I connect those dots with a line. And then where they cross over would be the body surface area in square meters. So where's my pen here? This would be around 230, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 232, about 234 meters squared. Sorry, I'm zoomed in, so it's going crazy. Okay, so that's how you use the nomogram. And I know you guys probably know how to do that, or some of you, but there was a few questions I had after the first test that made me want to kind of show this to you. Okay. What else? Let's go back. Number 8, same thing, right? So it's for number 8, it says find it using a nomogram or by formula. Okay, let's look at number 9. If the usual adult dose of a drug is 200 milligrams, what would be the dose based on a BSA for a person measuring 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing 220 pounds? So for this, we can figure out the dosage using formula 4 on our data, or I keep wanting to say data book, but formula chart. So the usual adult dose is 200 milligrams. Okay, and this is based on the average adult dose. So what I'm trying to do is figure out the dose for somebody else, somebody that's a different size. So formula 4 on your data booklet, or sorry, on your formula sheet says that you can calculate the adult dose for somebody by taking the BSA of that adult, dividing it by 1.73 meters squared, sorry. That would be the average volume of an average adult times the usual adult dose. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, first things first, I'm going to need to look up the BSA. I know the usual adult dose, but I need to find the BSA of this adult. So 6'2", 220 pounds. So let's clear my drawings. So he's going to be 6'2", or she, 200. So 6'2", 220 pounds. I'm going to connect those dots with a line. Oh, speaking of that, if you have a ruler, you might want to bring a ruler for your final, but you can use the side of your calculator. You could use the side of the data booklet to help you with this. You don't need to be perfect with your line. So you don't need a ruler for your final exam. Oops, sorry. Get rid of that line. So this BSA would be, every line is 2, so 222, 224, about 200, or sorry, 2.26 meters squared. Doesn't need to be perfect. You know, if you said 2.28, somebody else said 2.25, that's fine. Doesn't need to be perfect. So back to the exam. My adult dose is going to be my BSA. What did I just say it was? 2.2, I think I said 4 or 6. 6. 2.26 meters squared over 1.73 meters squared times the usual adult dose, milligrams, and there we go. So 2.26 divided by 1.73, there's a decimal here, guys, times 200 will give me 261.2 milligrams. I'll just leave it like that. Now, what this means is that this adult is bigger than your normal, or not normal, but average adult. So that if an average adult would take 200, because this person has a larger body surface area, they would take a little bit more of the usual dosage. Okay, so I have a private message here. I'll read this out to you. It says, can you please show where the 29 inches on the monogram will be in question 8? Okay, so let me scroll up here. If you look at question 8, it says find the BSA for a child who is 29 inches tall and 12 kilograms. So I go to my formula sheet. I go to the child table, and it says 29 inches. Now, there's a problem here because if you look, there's no inches on this chart. So what I would do is I would take the 29 inches and I would change it to centimeters. If you're dealing with a child, you could change this to feet and inches. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I showed you in class how to change from inches to feet. It's a little bit more challenging than say inches to centimeters. So inches to centimeters, I'm looking at, I think it's 2.54. Yep. I would change this to centimeters first. So 29 times 2.54 would give me 73.66 centimeters. So now I can easily find this. Now, let me see how much the child weighs, 12 kilograms. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to 73.66 inches and 12 kilograms. So 12 kilograms would be 10, 11, 12. This is 12 kilograms here. And 73 centimeters is on this side. So 71 to 73.6 is around 74. So there you go. And this would be my line. I'm not going to draw the line, but you get the idea. Okay. If you have inches and you're using the child's diagram, change it to centimeters. All right. Let me just check something here. Just sorry guys, I'm looking at the final exam here. Let me just move this. This question is on your final, number 9. It's just different adult, different weight, different things like that. So that's good to know. What else can we do? Let me just check the chat here. No problem, no problem. All right, what else can we do? What else can we do? I'm looking at your final here. Ooh, let me see if one of these are on this. Hold on, give me 1 second here. This would be a good one to do. Yeah, look at that. Let's do this one. This is from chapter 2, around the end of chapter 2. You can try all of these if you want. Guys, this review is very long. Your exam is not near this big. It's way shorter. Like this exam has like 50 questions, like, well, no, so many questions. Like don't expect your exam to be this long. This is a practice test. So actually, when I told you guys that this is an old exam, I don't even think this is an old exam. I think this is just old exam questions put together in one document. Like what I'm saying is you're not going to have 2 of these on your final. You're only going to have 1 of them. So let's look at this. Let's see how we can do this. Okay. Sorry. So number 13, definitely a test type of question. Actually, your 13 would be more like number 14. So yours is the one on your test is more like 14. So let's look at 14. Use the formula below to calculate how much of an ingredient would be needed to make 12 ounces of this ointment. Okay. Oh, well, I'll tell you this. The one on your exam is a little easier than this because this has a few steps. So this is a harder one. We want to make 12 ounces of this ointment, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out how much total ointment do we actually get? Now, in the question number 13, which I do recommend that you practice, I know that this is the total. And how do I know it's the total? Because QSAD tells me that it's that Latin where it means like adding water until we get 100 milliliters. So if you see QSAD, that is the total volume of solution. But the one on your final is more like this one. It has grams. So first things first, I'm going to figure out how much formula total I get from this by just adding up all these numbers. So my total here, this makes 1,000 grams or 1 kilogram of ointment. Okay, I want to know how can I modify this formula to make 12 ounces. So first thing I need to do is I need to figure out how many ounces are in a gram. So first, I'm going to change grams to ounces. So 1,000 grams is going to be, this is a pain, but I'll do anyway. It's not really a pain. To change grams to ounces, what I first need to do is change the grams to pounds. So 1 pound over 454 grams times 16 ounces over 1 pound. Okay, so my pounds and my grams will cancel. I'll be left with ounces. So let's see how many ounces are in the original recipe. 1,000 divided by 454 times 16. And I get 35.2 ounces. Okay, that's my total amount. Now what I want to do is use equation 3 on your formula sheet. I need to find the conversion factor. So the conversion factor is, and this is straight from your data sheet, your formula sheet, sorry, it's the quantity of desired over the quantity of formula. Now, we want to make, this is my desired up top here. If you're looking up top at the question, we want to make 12 ounces. The formula makes 35.2 ounces. So my conversion factor will be 12 divided by 35.2 or 0.34. And now all I need to do is multiply each of these by 0.34. And that's it. You take your conversion factor, so take your formula amount and multiply it by your conversion factor. So 300 times 0.34 is 102 grams. 500 times 0.34 is 170 grams. And 200 times 0.34 is 68 grams. All right, there you go. Okay, cool. So, I mean, yeah, that definitely make sure you know how to do that one. Now, chapter 3, you guys just had a test on, and we already did some from chapter 3 from your test earlier. So let's look at the short answer here. Something like, okay, I couldn't scroll down for some reason. Like number 6 we did today. That's a good one to know for your exam. Specific gravity calculations. You know, something like number 10, these mixture ones. Sorry about that noise there. I got a class in a few minutes. Like number 12, for example, the number 12 we did today on, or I showed you how to do that today on your test. So you might see something like number 12 again. Yeah. For number, I haven't tested you on chapter 4. For number 4, this chapter is a very, very, very good practice. Whoops. Hold on. Get rid of that. Oops. Yeah, so you have a couple of multiple choice, you know, about the mean, the median, the mode. Remember that the mean is the average of the data, the median is the number in the middle. One important thing, and this is on your final exam, this exact question, put the numbers in order. So the first thing you do when you see this on your final exam is to put the numbers in order. You must do that. And then there's some constructed response. So, oh, actually, guys, on your test, I'll give you a good hint. On your test, there is only one. Hold on, let me just double check. Sorry, not on your test, on your final. I want to double check so I know I'm not lying to you. Hold on, let me just look at it here. Okay. Find the selling price. So on your final. Okay, hold on. You have two short answer questions from chapter 4. This one, well, like this one. Obviously, there'll be different numbers, so it'll be like this one. Bidwell Pharmacy purchased 120 bottle of acetaminophen for 11 reals. What would its selling price be if it was marked up 20%? So something like this. We did this yesterday, so you would find out what 20% of 11 is. So if you wanted to see me do this, I'll do it really quick because I do have another class now. 20% of 11 is 2.2. So the selling price is the cost plus the markup. It's going to be 11 plus 2.2, 13.2 reals. This you'll see on your final, wink, wink. Obviously, it'll be different numbers. The other question you'll see on your final from chapter 4, and guys, I'm talking about the short answer, is this one, number 7. The gross profit, the net profit, the markup rate, the total expenses, the turnover rate. These are two questions you'll see from chapter 4. Now, you guys might be thinking, well, that's not a lot of stuff from chapter 4. Most of the chapter 4 questions I've turned into multiple choice. So you might see a graph like this. This would be multiple choice. You're going to have two types of graphs on your final. You'll have a bar graph and a line graph. There's no line graph on this, but you can look at your notes or some of the sample questions. But on your final, you'll see a bar graph and a line graph. This one. So this is a good one. So bar graph or line graph. And these will be multiple choice questions. Okay, sorry. One more question in the chat here from, well, it doesn't matter who it's from. The student is talking about this question, number 7. What was the inventory turnover rate? I don't know if you're talking about number 7, but the question is, if I got 5.9 as an inventory turnover rate, can you round it to 6? Yes, absolutely. You can round the inventory turnover rate. Guys, I'm not too worried about rounding. Don't worry. If you just remember what I said yesterday, the inventory turnover rate is like how many times a year your inventory gets changed. So it's kind of weird to use a decimal, like if it was 6.333 or 6.32, you would probably just say, well, we replace our inventory about 6 times a year. And the question I got in the private message was, what if the turnover rate calculated to be 5.9? Like you would probably say, oh, well, hey, my turnover rate is about 6. But yeah, that's it. Guys, that's going to be it for me today. Your exam is on Saturday. By the way, I picked questions today to show you that you will see again, or you should see very similar questions on your final. I will upload test 1. Where am I going here? I will upload test 1, the answer key, right now, like literally right after this class, I will put it in the final exam reviews. I'll put the key to test 1 here. So I highly recommend you look at your old tests, you look at the final exam review, practice as much as you can. And guys, if you have any questions today, tomorrow, or Friday, I'm around. The only time I'm not around is right now because I have another class, so I'll be busy for 2 hours. And I have to invigilate, I have to monitor an exam tomorrow afternoon. So I'm not going to be free tomorrow afternoon. But if you guys want to get your tests, go to 7242A. If you guys want to meet me on Zoom like tonight or tomorrow night or tomorrow morning, just send me an email. You guys know my email, mark.scanes@CNA. You get the rest. Send me an email. We can meet on Zoom. Like, I'm pretty free. There's a few times I'll be a little busy, but anyways, other than that, that's it. Have a good day. I'll be in the exam room, so I'm not going to say goodbye because I'll get to see every one of you in the exam room. So you'll see me one more time. All right, guys, any questions? Everybody okay? Thanks, everybody. So you guys have been such a good class. Thank you, Samara. Thank you, Asma, Zarina, Lorena. I'll give you easy questions, Aisha, I promise. A lot of the questions on the exam are easier than the sample final. Like this final exam review here has tough questions. So if you can do the final exam review, you can do everything. All right, guys, thanks so much. You've been such a good class. It was so good to see you all again. Have a great day, and I will be there in your final exam watching you. Take care. See you in a few days. And if you need any help, send me an email. I'm around. All right. Goodbye.